Hello and welcome to this new video tutorial of Magento 2 GeoIP extension. And in today's video tutorial we'll be showing you how this particular extension helps the customers by making a personalized user experience for them by switching the relevant store view and currency as soon as they visit the website from a different location. So we'll be showing you the backend configuration and the workflow as well. But before that, let me give you a small gist regarding this particular extension that we have created. So by making use of this particular extension, now the Magento 2 web store admins would be able to provide a personalized and a better user experience to their customers. This plugin detects the customer's location based on their IP address and automatically redirects the respective customer to their relevant store view and changes the currency as per their country. For example, a US customer, while navigating to your website, which is in South Africa, is redirected to the relevant US store along with the currency for that particular country. So basically that's how this particular plugin works. And now this is basically achieved by mapping the store views with multiple countries, thereby aiding the customers of specific countries to land upon their desired store view. So now let me take you to the admin backend panel first, and let me show you what different configuration settings are there that need to be configured before making use of this particular plugin, and then we'll be showing you the workflow as well. So here I'm at the web store backend, and I'll be logging into my admin backend panel first. So after we have properly installed this particular plugin, what we need to do is that we need to configure certain settings. So after you've installed this particular plugin, you'll have this menu option, that is GeoIP, on the admin side panel, as you can see here. And within the GeoIP we have four different sections or sub menu options. So the very first one is the store view redirect, currency details, redirect, and blocked IPs. So I'll be taking you through each of them one by one. So before that, let me take you to the backend configuration panel for this particular module. So you need to navigate through stores, then configuration, and on the configuration page under the webcool block you'll find the GeoIP submenu option. So you need to tap that up, and this would bring up the configuration settings for the GeoIP itself. So here you can see that we have two different settings. One is the default or the basic settings for the GeoIP, and then the global IP redirection as well. So I'll take you through each of them one by one. So the very first option here under the GeoIP settings is enable. So the admin can choose a yes or a no as required. So if the admin wants to enable this particular functionality within the web store, then he can choose a yes for this enable option here. Otherwise he can choose a no. Then we have the location change option. Here what the admin can do is he can allow or restrict the customers to change their location. One thing is that the customers are directly redirected to their country from where they are accessing the particular website, and the other option is that even after they have been redirected, they can even choose a different country's website, or can choose that different country's currency as well. So here the location change and the currency change options can be allowed or restricted. If for the location change the admin has chosen the allow option, then the customers would be able to change their location from the web store front end. Now for the currency change would allow the users to change the currency according to their will, and if the admin chooses this option as a restrict one, then the customers would not be able to change their currency from the web store front end. So here we have enabled the option and allowed or restricted the customers so as to make them change their location and the currency as per their own required need. And lastly we have the global IP redirection option, and here we have the redirection URL. So within this particular section, the admin So here the admins will basically set up the global IP redirection, the redirection URL, the universal resource locator, wherein the customers would be redirected. So this would be global. And lastly, the admin needs to tap on the save configuration button here to save the configurations for the GeoIP plugin itself. So I'll tap the save configuration button and we'll be saving this particular configuration settings. Now let me take you further and let me show you what different options we have under the GeoIP plugin itself. So I'll open these submenu options. So I'll be opening the store with redirect, currency details, the redirect, and the blocked IPs as well. So we'll go through each of them one by one. So the very first one that we have is the store view redirect. So here we are on the GeoIP store views detail section right now. And basically under these GeoIP section options that we have here, the web store owner would be able to manage this particular extension. So now let's go through each of them one by one. Now here the admin would be able to map the store views with the different countries. So as you can see here, we have set up view store views, and here the admin can delete and change the status of the mapped store views. So to add a new one, the admin just needs to tap on the add new button here, and let me tap that up. So to add the store view details for the mapping, what the admin needs to do is the admin needs to enable the status first, then enter the store view title, then choose the country for which the mapping is to be done, and then the admin needs to choose that particular store view, and then the admin needs to tap on the save button. And after tapping the save button, you'll be able to see that particular mapping being done under the GeoIP store views details on the under the same section here. So likewise, we have done for the name Afghan. The redirection to the store is Afghanistan store. The status is enabled and is mapped to the countries that is the Afghanistan itself. So that was how we can basically what we say as how we can add a new option, or how the admin can create a new mapping between the store view and the countries. So now let's go to the GeoIP currency section. So here we are on the GeoIP currency details section. So it's the second one. So for this particular section, what the admin can do is, after the mapping has been done for the countries with the store views, now the admin will map the currency with the specified countries, so that on visiting the particular store, the customer can see their desired currency option for making the payment. So the admin can view a complete list of all the currencies that he has already mapped with the specific countries. For example, for now there's a default one, like the allowed country is United States, and I've what we say, I've mapped it to the euro, the currency code. So under the actions column, the admin can change the status as enable or disable for the mapped currencies, and can delete as well. For mapping a currency with multiple countries, what the admin can do is he can tap on the add new button here, and that would bring up the section where the admin can do the country and the currency code mapping. And to do so, the admin would firstly enable this particular currency details, then select the currency, and finally he needs to select the country, or can also choose multiple countries for which he wants to map the currency with, and can then tap the save button to save the currency and country mapping details. So that was about the currency details section. Now let's go to the redirect and then the blocked IP section. So here we are on the redirection section, and here the admin can restrict the customers based on their country and the state IP addresses. for viewing the products, categories, and the URLs. So the admin can view all the created redirections on the basis of product, URL, and category types, as you can see here. So here we have URL, product, and category types. And the admin can create a new redirection on either product, URL, or a category as per the selected country by tapping a button, that's the add new button at the top right hand corner, and that brings up this section wherein first the admin needs to enable the status of that redirect feature, and so it's enabled. Then the admin needs to choose the type. So under the type, you can choose from a product, category, or URL as per your selection. For example, if we choose a product, then we need to select the product from the drop down option. As you can see here, we can choose a product. So you need to tap here on the drop down and you can choose a product. Then you need to set up the what we say as the redirection for this particular product. You can choose the country for which you want to set it up and the state as well. Now, depending upon the type that you have selected here, a product, a category, or a URL, accordingly you need to choose the product for that and the redirection as well. So if you're choosing this as a category, then you need to choose a category for this one, and if you have chosen a URL for this, then you need to type in the URL or paste the URL for this. After that, you just need to enter the redirection to the exact redirection where the redirection needs to be done, and rest the country and the states would remain same, and then you just need to tap on the save button, and thus you'll be able to set up the redirection. And now let's go to the blocked IP section, and under this basic section, the admin can enter multiple IPs to block or blacklist customers, and the admin from here can view the list of blocked countries IPs and can also add new ones by tapping the add new button. So right now we have added only one what we say as the blocked IP. We can delete and change the status of the added blocked IPs as well from the actions drop down here, and we can also tap on the view link here to check the details regarding the blocked IPs. So here you can see the blocked IP details. So within the IP addresses here, you can see that we have added multiple IP addresses, and we have set up the redirection as well. So that was about the blocked IP section. So I've taken you through all of these 4 sections now, and now let me show you how this particular plugin works at the front end. So for that, I'll just take you to the front end now. So after the configuration, while the admin has allowed the customers to change their store waves and the currencies as per the location change and the currency change option that I had shown you in the configuration settings, thereafter, with the help of this particular extension, the website will identify the customer location first and show the relevant store view and currency to them. As you can see here, the store view is the US store view and the currency is US dollars. Now, for example, a USA customer with the US IP addresses are redirected to the US store view only when navigating to your website. Also, if the admin has allowed the location change and the currency change and configured the country specific IP addresses, then in such case the US customers can also view the other store views available on the website. So here you can see the customer is also able to check the other store views like the German store view, and the seller or the customer can now select the German store view as well and its currency as well. So you can see that the store view is German and the currency is for Euro. And now what if the location and the currency change are restricted? Now in this case, for example, if the user of a US can view only the store view available for the US and the relevant currency only. So while there is a restriction, then the user of a particular country would only be able to view his country's website view. So a US guy would be able to check only the US store view and would be able to purchase the products with the currency for the US only, that's the US dollars. And for the global IP redirection, the admin would have set up the redirection URL at which the customer would get redirected to the specified URL. Now, if the country's IP is not configured by the admin, so if a country's IP address is not configured by the admin, then in this case, the customer gets redirected to a specific URL which has been set by the admin in the configuration settings for the global IP redirection. So I had already shown you that as well. So basically that's how the Magento 2 GeoIP extension works, and I hope this helped you out in understanding the flow of this particular plugin. And if you have any questions or queries regarding this particular plugin, then you can always get back to us at support@webcool.com, or you may raise a ticket at webcool.uvdesk.com. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day ahead.